Always book ahead. Jimmy Vielkind, Sevilla. After a 6-hour train journey from Valencia to Sevilla, my goal was simple. On a weekend evening at 5 p.m., find a place to stay. Filled with worry as I toted my duffel bag and day pack across the station platform, I decided to take a cab. Like most cabbies in the world, this fellow didn't quite speak my language, and even after 7 years of studying Spanish, I didn't quite speak his. But I knew enough to ask him to take me to the church of Santa Maria la Blanca. My guidebook said there were hostels nearby. He looked at me quizzically and asked why. "I'm looking for a bed," I said. Bed was much more in line with my budget than room. The hostel where I had stayed in Barcelona had offered a bed, along with several other bunks, in a relatively cramped room. My cabbie, however, misunderstood. "Sé un lugar barato, pero no es tan cerca la iglesia que quiere," he said. "I know a cheap place, but it's not as close to the church as you want." "Es bueno?" I asked, in a meager attempt to assert standards. "Es barato," was his reply. He weaved in and out of the narrow streets until we reached a white, 5-story apartment building, which abutted a larger thoroughfare. He grabbed my duffel and led me inside, where he called for a woman named Sophia and greeted her with a kiss on the cheek. He explained that I was looking for a bed. I paid him, he heard his radio squawk, and sped off. An old fan swirled near the ceiling, and a dying potted plant sat in the corner by the door. There was no one around, no tourist brochures, no desk, none of the traditional trappings of a hotel or hostel lobby. "Deje sus mochillas," Sophia said. "Sube las escaleras conmigo. Le mostro las chicas." "Leave your bags. Come upstairs with me. I'll show you the girls." Girls? Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a young woman clad only in a towel walking toward a shower. Around the corner, a stodgy man with a mustache and a crew cut was counting money at a folding card table. "Estás temprano, pero alguien está aquí." "You're early, but someone will be around." It had taken me a few moments, but I finally put it all together. The girls upstairs weren't exactly St. Mary the White. And this was no hostel. It was a brothel. I fumbled through some excuse and rushed out before the burly pimp could shake me down. But once outside, I found myself in the same situation as before, alone in a foreign city with the sun setting fast, carrying bags, and looking for a place to stay. Low on cash and weary of cabbies, I grabbed a map and decided to hoof it. It was then that I realized that the Spanish and I have different concepts of city planning. I come from New York, where, in 1811, the city fathers carved up Manhattan into a grid that time has proven to be all but idiot-proof. In Sevilla, on the other hand, I was lucky to find a street with a label on it. Checking my map at every corner, I soon found myself walking in circles and still horribly lost. So I started asking every person I passed for directions. They pointed me in more circles, which led me onto one-way streets randomly blocked by items such as a massive parade with a 20-foot statue of a saint and a full marching band. 2 hours and a full tour of the old city later, I found the tiny square with the 2 hostels named in my guidebook. Both turned out to be full. The manager of the second saw the deflated look on my face, and he told me to follow him across the street. Through a wrought-iron gate and an open courtyard, we entered a building where the air was thick with concrete dust. Scaffolding loomed along the walls. Instead of the metal Hosteling International sign that would mark the place as legitimate, a bad imitation had been stenciled on the wall. An old man named Manuel came out, looked me from top to bottom, and said, "20. He knew he had landed a customer before I even reached for my wallet. He gave me a key and showed me to a windowless room upstairs. Flies swarmed around the bare bulb that hung from the ceiling. When I dropped my bag, a roach scurried across the floor. I put a t-shirt over the pillow in a feeble attempt to avoid lice and collapsed on the bed. It was 9 p.m., 4 hours after I had arrived at the train station. Next time, I thought, before drifting off, I'll book ahead.